banana bread, make money. Eat 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 banana bread, make money.
Welcome everyone to Banana Bread Trades. My name is Goose and it is another recap and review of our trading day today. And boy howdy, did we get absolutely worked today. Now we came out green, but it wasn't without some absolute trials and tribulations. Our plan last night, we talked about longing 5,200, which we did. I had a limit order set overnight. I expected us to wick 5,200, maybe get down to 5,295 or something, then immediately reclaim and then bounce up. I expected this to happen overnight, which it didn't happen overnight. It actually happened about an hour pre-market. And let's flip over to our 15-minute chart here. Happened about an hour pre-market, and I had just woken up and saw the alert that my order had gotten filled. And about the time I got charts stuff opened up, I was actually already stopped out. So I took a quick stop out first thing this morning, like wake up, oh, we're already stopped out. But it was a light stop out. We were only long 2 MES. I know I was copy trading some Apex accounts, but nonetheless, it wasn't a huge loss. If I'm going to trade overnight, and especially since we were targeting 5,250, I wasn't really too concerned with playing with big size because I knew the reward was super high. What was really depressing though, is we got stopped out to like the tick, because since I was so small and since it was overnight, I gave it a little bit of room, generally around 10 points. We got stopped out like bottom tick, and I'll show my chart here in a second, but man, was it ugly. And then we ended up just kind of holding. We were front running 51.85. There was a lot of buyers sitting there, and it was pretty clear that they kicked in, right? Our plan was we wanted to see a wick of 5,200, have it reclaim, and then get long. Well, buyers were sitting there. And then also a really good statistic that you should know is that it's a very high percent of the time that if either overnight high breaks or overnight low breaks, that the other one won't. And I don't know the exact statistic. We have it in our Discord in the stats page. But that is a very high statistic. And we're opening really close to, because I was wanting to get long pre-market here. We were opening really close to this overnight low. I had a nice wick. And I was like, okay, well, if we're going to play this stat, I really think we break overnight high today. And since we're right here by overnight low, I'm overall bullish. This is a great entry setup. So I got long again after getting stopped. I waited about 5-10 minutes, re-longed because we were sitting there kind of grinding. It was really close to open. And then price took off and we made up for our stop. We paid for our stop that we took overnight, as well as we caught another runner that was about 52.12. I took profit. I was watching SPY pretty close, and I took profit on my second runner when we got to SPY gap fill, because that was also something I was watching pretty close, especially when it's a gap down like we had in SPY. Gap fill is usually a pretty important resistance point. And then the next thing that happened, and let me just pull up my chart here, which would be better, is, so here's our stop. We took our stop. We caught the long after, we waited a little bit. It was about open. I was more confident that would break overnight high than overnight low. Paid for our stop with the core there. Got a runner, and that's about the time SPY gap filled. And then my mistake was, and it's not even a mistake really, like I'm probably going to do this move every time because it's really high reward. And plus, I only had one runner left. So after I took this off, I only have this one runner left. And we retested initial balance high. Like we broke initial balance high. We came down, we retested it, wicked it, reclaimed. Buyers were there. Everything I wanted to do what I like to call my initial balance high continuation play. Which, I mean, I have a video on this exact setup, right? The one that I have on the top of my channel. That exact setup happened, and I was like, this is great. We got the delta flip, like buyers were there, delta was green, everything was good. But what happened was buyers came in really hard for a second. Everything was green. I got long, and then they just gave up. They just completely gave up, and we stopped making significant highs, and we kind of sold a little bit. But overall, I was still leaning to the bull side. So I was like, okay, maybe we sell a little bit here, but I was willing to move my stop to break even because I still had a runner from here. I added one contract right here. And then down here at around 5202, 5203, that's where my break even was. So I was like, man, I'm pretty confident we don't wick that far down and that we might just chop around initial balance high here and then continue trading up because I thought we would break overnight high for sure. But we just didn't. We kept grinding down, and then I ended up actually getting stopped out almost to the wick on this wick down here. Then we ended up going a little bit lower, so I would have had to take some drawdown anyway. And so I'm not too mad about the stop. It pulled back way further than I had intended. And really, I probably should have kept my stop originally where it was, which was at the bottom of this wick. But I didn't, and that's okay. I really believed in the long. And you can see why. I mean, we did end up kind of traveling bullish. And after I got stopped, I sat there and kind of stewed for about a good, as you can see here, probably a good 30 minutes. I just sat there and looked at it and I was like, did I really just get bottom ticked on this runner? Because as you guys know, we're targeting 5250. And I wanted to have that add, and then we were going to have some extra contracts to be able to scale out at 5220 and above and really, really make a big play today. Like everything set up so perfect to catch a massive breakout trend play today. And then we just didn't go anywhere. I ended up relonging after sitting there stewing and watching, 5200 technically, if you look at a longer time frame chart, it broke back above, it reclaimed, came back and retest, held, and then that's really, that's our golden setup to long. So I sat there, I looked at it for a little bit and I was like, dang, this is like the long setup I like to do. I know I've already taken 2 trades today, which is a lot for me. Normally, I just like to take the one and be done. I'm going to enter another trade just because I love this trade so much. I was done trading. I was like, I don't want to trade anymore. And sitting there, and I watched it, and it just really forced my hand in taking the trade because it was just everything that I would want to take. It was an A+ setup. It was an absolute A+ setup with our level, the bottom of the range, 5200. So I had to take it. I was like, okay, since we're already taking a few trades today, stuff hasn't exactly gone our way. All I did was long one contract. I just longed the one contract to basically a continuation of our original runner. We're just ignoring this ad that ended up getting stopped out. We relonged at about the same spot. We killed this runner. I was like, we'll just do this continuation ad. And so that's what we did. We got in and we targeted overnight high. And wouldn't you know it, we didn't break either overnight high or overnight low today. And that statistic is 4% from 2022 to now. RTH breaks either all-time overnight high or overnight low. One of them, both, not both of them together, but just at least one of those breaks 90% of the time in regular trading hours. And we didn't break it. So a very, very rare day where we just don't fill that statistic. And that happens. And we're just consolidating really hard. But it just made for a very struggle-filled, tough day. You can see here, I literally traded the entire RTH. And an hour before, I was in a trade the entire day. And I caught the entire day outside of the last, I just tried to hold through close, thinking we would break overnight high. We didn't. And then I killed it at close. But I caught the entire day. And that entire day is barely 20 points. So, it seems like I had a pretty big stops and not huge winners today. But honestly, the stops aren't that big. They're light leverage. We just didn't go anywhere. We had a range of about 20 points. My average stop size is about 10 points. And normally I'm taking my core off at 20 points. And as you can see, the entire day's range is 20 points. So absolutely tough day. I'm very happy to come out green. We had a couple M and Q scalps. I was just taking basically the same setups we had here. On ES, the only difference is on M&Q. I usually take profit if I'm trying to get a long, like a swing hold on ES. I'll, take my profit off at, 50 points or so on M&Q. So yeah, just an all around pretty tough day, but not tough as in we were making the wrong plays. I am very happy with pretty much every trade I took. In the moment, I would probably do all of these trades again. In hindsight, it's like, oh man, why did you long there? Well, this first stop, this was a limit. I didn't expect us to wick all the way down past 190. We wicked much further than we did. I expected us to wick 5,200 overnight, probably in London session, and I really didn't want to miss that long. So I'm not upset with that stop. I thought, 5,200 would be the bottom of the range, which it was. We just wicked it a little bit further than I expected, and then we came down. We broke above 5,200 back into the range, reclaimed it, retested it, and held. And then, we traded back to, about the middle of the range. So, yeah, just tough day overall. We came out green, so we're happy with that. And we just look forward to the next one. So, I'm glad I played light today because this would have been a very tough day to hold leverage on, for sure. It was just very slow. So, I'm very excited because tomorrow, let's get into tomorrow's plan now. Tomorrow we have unemployment claims. And if you watched the last FOMC, they said that they will be watching unemployment claims very closely because that's a very big indicator of how the economy is doing and how we kind of gauge inflation. So that's tomorrow, I think, is going to be a pretty decent data point. How big of a move do we get from that? Personally, on ES, I'm looking for like a 25 to 50 point move from this data release. And it could be smaller. But as far as like the actual number goes, I couldn't really tell you a direction or a prediction for that matter. All I know is that regardless of the data release that comes out, the plan is still the same. And I don't even want to change my range, because I still think that 5,200 to 5,220 is the range. Today, we just kind of tried to break out of that range, immediately went back into the range. 5,210 to 5,207 area. I mean, this is an absolute battle zone. So, yeah, I like where our range is at. And the plan still remains the same of we are long biased above 5,150. That is the absolute plan today, or plan for tomorrow, is we're going to be looking for longs at levels of support. Now, tomorrow, it will be important. If we start selling, okay, if tomorrow market starts selling, let's draw some things. Where is the path? Okay. Very important thing to talk about tomorrow. Oh, no. Okay. Very important thing. If we start selling, so we have a buy zone here at 51.85, 51.80. That should really be more of a zone than a level. And then 51.50 zone here. What's very important is we are not going to long just because it touches our level. So let's say it's tomorrow and we sell, right? Just because it hits our level doesn't mean we get long, right? Just because it hits our level doesn't mean long. We want it to actually break our level. We want sellers to try to sell and see if people are willing to sell lower. If they are not willing to sell lower, they'll break back above our level, support it, reclaim it, and then we get long. This is our setup for tomorrow that we're looking for off of these levels. We want to see our levels get wicked. We want to see them try to move price lower and fail at doing that. When they fail to move price lower in a really solid attempt, then we get really long biased, and we get long bias on the reclamation and support of our levels. So we're actually getting long somewhere in here. We're not getting long here on the test. We're not getting long under our zone. we're getting long after our zone has been reclaimed, and then we can figure out the leverage and size we need based on how big that wick down was. So like overnight, for example, if I was at charts, but I wasn't, I set a limit and I knew the risks to that limit. I knew that there was probably a good chance, because I'm setting a limit, I'm not buying a reclamation, that we could just sell right through my level. And that's why I played it so small and so wide. But like today is a perfect example of what we mean of we sold through our levels, sellers sold through 5,200, which is what we wanted. They just sold it a little farther than I planned, but they sold through and they failed to find people willing to sell lower. People were very eager to buy here. They reclaimed back into the level, came down, retested our level again, and then that's the long. Because it holds right here, that's the long. The only thing is they absolutely ran out of steam into the end of day, which is somewhat concerning, but also, like I said, with the data release coming tomorrow morning, I'm not too incredibly concerned either way. I just think there's a lot of indecision at this moment. So tomorrow, the move kind of just depends on whatever the data is going to be. So yeah, we're still looking to long levels, either whether it be here at 5180, 5185, or 5150, this kind of zone here. That's our plan, and we might just go ahead and break out tomorrow too. If we break out above 5220 on this news release, all right, we will be looking for price to maybe try to come back in. I mean, this is a very high volume spot. And if you look at volume profile, if I can get to load here. If you look at volume profile, it's also the POC. The POC today moved to 5207. We were saying it's a battleground. It is absolutely the most important battleground now. The POC was up here at 5250, which is where we've been targeting, but it has moved to 5207, which that means that this is now the next most important pivot that we are at right now. If we break out and support tomorrow off news, it is going to be a very, very bullish situation. Our original target is still 5250. Above 5250, I don't have any really important levels because that's all-time highs after that. Like above 5250, it is just playing levels of support and playing whatever trend is going on up towards all-time highs. That's what we do in all-time high situations. I'll be referencing Rocket Scooter. I'll be referencing time and sales, Delta. I'll be watching all of these things. Initial balance. That's another one. Opening range. I'll start to reference kind of those indications of where the trend is headed and, you know, how buyers and sellers, like what is, you know, the momentum, what's the trend, what's the bias at the moment, you know, in the market, what is the market sentiment. When we get above 5250, we have to start relying on kind of those situations because we're just all out of levels. I mean, this 5250 to 5317, this is really just one big zone. And there are not really any super technical important levels. I mean, outside of some of these, you know, peaks here, I mean, these are really all we got to go off of. And I don't even put that much faith in those. So yeah, like I said, above 5150, it's just game on towards all-time highs. You're either long biased or you're sitting out and trying to just predict a big short play. Unless it's something incredibly obvious, I just would not be shorting above 5250. I would rather be late. I would rather be either a few minutes late or even, you know, a whole day late before I catch a short above 5250. Because as you guys have seen, when we are grinding all-time highs, it really does not care. And things can look incredibly bearish and just go up. Like that's because we're at all-time highs. It is bullish at all-time highs. So yeah, I won't be looking for shorts. above 52.50, I will just be either riding the wave, ride the wave if you're here, we'll be riding your wave, or sitting flat. That's just how we do. Or I'll probably be playing more on M and Q in that situation. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Now, tomorrow could sell pretty violently. If we sell right through 51.50, all bets are off. If we break through 51.50, I'm assuming it would make an attempt to reclaim 51.50. And if that reclaim attempt failed, I am going to be extremely bearish. Okay, 51.50 remains the most important pivot in my opinion. However, with POC where it is, I mean, this is now the decision zone for, what's next. But overall, like I said, I'm still bull bias. News could completely change that. But this is the current plan. We're going to long 51.80, 51.85 on any sort of reclamation. Same thing with 51.50. We're long here at any sort of reclamation. Above 52.20, we need to see a retest of 52.20 to get long to 52.50. I'm not just going to blindly buy above 52.20. I will not blindly buy. I will sit back and watch. I'm not going to long pre-news. I'm not going to short pre-news. I'm going to let news happen and then play the price action following. I might not even trade until regular trading hours. Like, I'm not that, I don't have FOMO over whatever move is about to happen. In my opinion, we're just kind of close to the end of our original move that we've been talking about since 50.43. I mean, we've played all of this move so well. I'm not going to try to dig myself in a hole trying to either catch, the last 20 points of this move of our entire plan, or, try to catch some massive short. Like I said, I'd rather be late to the short than way too early and just keep taking stops on the short. So that's the plan for now. I'm sorry this went a little long, but I feel like there's a lot to talk about today because we're going to be in for a big one, I think, tomorrow. And if we just end up being in the range again tomorrow, I mean, I sincerely doubt that we don't break out of the range tomorrow. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at. It's going to be exciting. Hopefully we get some really good movement, and we're just going to be looking for any reason to long. Honestly, that's the plan. So yeah, that's all I got. If you guys got any questions or anything, hit me up in the comments below. I will have a link to this chart in the description below, as always. And then, yeah, I guess good luck tomorrow, guys. Stay safe. Don't get liquidated. And if it's not clear, don't trade it. Like, today was tough. And at times, it was almost unclear. And that's the most important thing, is just don't trade when it's not clear. There will be so many setups in the next coming weeks, months, years. So it's okay to just sit back and be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'll wait until I do know what's going on, because just taking a wild stab here, it's going to hurt you more times than not. So yeah, be safe, guys. Let's have a day tomorrow. Hope everyone comes out green. And then, yeah, also keep notified on my Twitter. If I get in a position, I'll probably put it on there. I'm not taking anything overnight tonight. So anything I do take will be post news tomorrow. I'll post it on Twitter. I'll post it in Discord too. You guys know the drill. And then, yeah, that's all I got. So thank you guys for watching. Again, be safe, eat banana bread, make money. I got a great new song coming along. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Two teaspoons vanilla extracts, 2 cups flour, 1 cup sugar, salt for brown sugar to change it up, 1 teaspoon baking soda, half teaspoon salt, half teaspoon cinnamon, bake for 45 minutes at 350 degrees. After you pull it out of the oven, immediately in tin foil and leave set at room temperature overnight. The tin foil locks in the moisture so that when you cut into it, the next day you have soup